Hey everyone, hello. Welcome to another day of our 30 days of seated activities, 30 days of seated OT class with Dan. Today is day 30, our last day of class. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Remember, these seated activities are great for anyone who wants to participate in these activities from a seated position, whether it's difficult to stand up or it's just more comfortable to do it in a seated position. These are a great way to practice some different self-regulation activities that can help us to get our energy out, activities that can help us to feel better that we can use, whether it's movement, breathing, or different strategies, and that we can do from a seated position, okay? So remember, everything is just educational, okay? It's not meant to replace any services that you might have or any existing services that are already in place, just meant to be additional educational information that you can use to try on your own and for parents, families, educators to incorporate with your students. Okay, please make sure you are safe and careful. Since I can't see what anybody is doing, please make sure that you are safe in everything that you do. Everything is at your own risk, so please be super careful with everything that you do. All right, without further ado, let's get started with our day 30, our last day of our 30 days of seated OT class with Dan. So if you're keeping track, if you have your notebook, then we can scroll through. We have all our different activities that we've been doing. If you can scroll through one letter at a time. Okay. So a good way to practice actually our manipulation skills of our fingers by turning one page at a time. Okay. So especially as we get towards the end, we want to just go right through all our pages, but it's a nice way to practice, first of all, patience and self-control, but also those fine motor in-hand manipulation skills needed to turn our pages. Okay, we keep turning those pages. And we get to our first page of activities for our day 30. Okay, so we did our A, B, C, D. We did E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Q, R, S, T was last week. So now this week we start with our letter U. And our first activity is up, up, down, down. Okay, so up, up, down, down is something that we can do using the chair as well. And standing up from the chair, but using the chair to help support us. So up, up, down, down, we can do either by standing up and sitting down. Okay, so we don't even have to take our hands off the chair. It's a little bit easier to stand up from the chair when we scoot to the edge of it, get our weight a little bit forward so that our knees come over our ankles, right? We can even rock forward if we need. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, make sure you have somebody standing nearby if you need. Remember, safety is first. Okay, 1, 2, 3, stand up. Okay, we don't even have to take our arms off. Just get a nice stand and have a seat. So that becomes our up and down. If you want to try even more, we could stand up, take our arms off, and bring them down and have a seat. Okay, we can also stand up and maybe bring one leg up and another leg up. Becomes our up, up. And our seat is our down. Or we can have a stand and bring our arms up, 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 down, down. Okay? If we're staying seated, then we can do either lifting our legs and trying to hold it up. So you might need to hold onto the chair. Can do up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down. Okay? Or we can do up and down, up and down. Or with our arms. Great arm exercise. Up, up, down, down. Up, up, down, down. Or just one arm at a time, up and down, up and down. If you want to try mixing it up, maybe lift opposite arm and leg, up, up, down, down. And the other side, up, up, down, down. Or the same side, up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down. Okay, so a couple of different things that we can do. And so our up, up, down, down is a combination of different up and down movements of our arms and legs, standing or seated. Okay, let's cross that one off. Check it off rather, up, up, down, down. Next says upside down. Upside down is a really good way to challenge our vestibular system, which is a sense that we have, which is located in our inner ear, and it tells us our head position in space, and it tells our body, by telling our body where our head is in space, it tells us if we are balanced or off balance. So a good way to practice that is by getting upside down, either rolling sideways or rolling forwards, okay? If we're sitting, it might be a little hard to roll. So there's other ways that we can get our head upside down, okay? It's very important to be secure and safe. Remember, safety is number one. But if we have a chair that is sturdy and stable, holding on to that chair and maybe with somebody nearby, we also can possibly experience like a little lightheaded or dizzy with this. So we want to be very careful with it, but just bringing our head down, right? We don't need to lean forward too much in the chair, just bringing our head down with our chin tucked to our chest and just see if we could get our head low. All right, and now when we get down here, we can keep it down here. Maybe we try turning it to one side, turning it to the other side, okay? And the way we come up from here, here's an important part. This way we don't get dizzy, okay? What we want to do is tuck our chin to our chest, and when we lift up, our head comes up last, and we go up nice and slow. So we don't want to rush this, right? Because if we just bend our head from down to up, just a lot of quick movements, which can be dangerous for the neck, first of all, but also just for the blood that's traveling to the brain, right? When we bend our head forward, the blood starts coming down towards the top of the head, right? So when we come back up, we just want to lean up with our head coming up last, keep that chin to the chest all the way to the end. And we can even come up here with a big breath in and a breath out just to relax into our seat. Okay, so you can do this also with your arms on a table or against the wall, just as a way to support. All right, but remember, safety and stability are most important. Okay, and it's really healthy to get our head upside down. It's very, very healthy for our brain to have that experience. So that's how we can do upside down. So let's go ahead and check off upside down. And that's our letter U. Turn the page and we come to our letter V. Okay, our first one in V is volcano breath. So volcano breath is a really cool breathing activity. Right, for volcano breath, we take our hands, bring them into each other, into the chest. It doesn't have to be with the hands together like this. You can interlace them. You can bring them fists side by side. You can have any way that feels good to you. Okay, I just like this because what we're going to be doing is erupting our volcano. So what we do is we're going to be a volcano eruption. It looks like this motion. Okay, so we're going to be doing breathing with this. So we're incorporating breathing into this. So the way we do it is we can lift our arms up and breathe in, right, as we open up our lungs. Or I'm sorry, that's backwards. We are actually starting down here. The volcano is starting to boil, and here's where we breathe in. And when we put our arms up, that volcano erupts, and that's where we blow our air out. Bring our air in. That volcano is coming together, and it erupts. We push it out. Let's try one more. Bring our air in. That volcano is getting ready, and it's erupting out. Okay, so volcano breath could be a nice way to practice some deep conscious breathing. That conscious breathing is a really good way to get our brain to put in executive function skills, right? Which is decision making and judgment. So if we're ever feeling like we're not able to fully judge a situation because of an emotion, maybe anger, or we're too excited or sad, anything, and it's hard to respond correctly because, or the right way that we want to, because we feel like we're not able to make the right decision. Some big, deep, conscious breathing helps get that decision-making part of the brain involved. Okay, so volcano breath could be a good one. We can check that out. Then we come to visualize. Visualize is also a nice strategy that we can use to help us find a more regulated state. So in volcano breath, if we visualize the volcano, then we can even imagine the volcano getting ready to erupt. We take a breath in, and it erupts as we blow our air out. So that's a visualization. There's many visualizations. Another one is with the ocean. So just like the ocean has water that turns into a wave and crashes onto the seashore, and then that water comes back into the ocean. So we could do the same with our breath. So we can inhale, and just like the waves crash, we blow our air out. Then the waves come back into the ocean. Just like our breath returns to our body, we take our breath in and crash the waves on the seashore, blow the air out. Okay, so these have been two breathing visualizations. There's also visualizations where we just, either with our eyes closed or with a soft gaze, kind of just looking into a comfortable spot. If it's easier than closing our eyes, we can just visualize, meaning try to imagine in our mind maybe something that makes us happy, whether it's a friend or a family member, if it's a person, or it's a place, or it's a thing. It could be a beach, or it could be snowman or a snow castle, like an igloo. It could be, a certain room of the house, a certain place, could be a certain color. So it's important that we can figure out something that makes us feel good, something that we like. Maybe it's a color. And then we could just try to imagine it, visualize that color. Okay, when we focus on it, it's something that can help us to feel a little bit more calm, in control, feel a little better if we're not feeling so great. Okay, so that visualize could be either visualizing for breathing or visualizing places, person, color, things, anything that we can use as a strategy to use at a time when we really need to just take a break and focus on something that will make us feel more how we want to feel, whether it's happier or more focused or more alert. Okay, so that's our visualize. We could cross out visualize. Then we come to V legs. So V legs, just like it sounds, we're going to be moving our legs like a V. So open your legs up wide. You can do one leg at a time. You can do one leg up, right? One leg at a time. Or you can try both legs at a time, kicking them up into the shape of a V. See if we can hold it, right? So we want to sit up nice and tall while we hold it. Maybe we hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we let it down. We can also have our leg as one leg of the V, and we can reach for our toes. Okay, I can't reach my toes, so don't worry if you can't either, right? And the other side, we can do cross body reaching, so lifting one leg and reaching across our body to try to touch our toes. Okay, or we can lift both of those legs and see if we can touch those toes very carefully, right? Don't want to fall out of the chair or slip out of the chair by leaning forward too much, right? Maybe if we have our foot up on something, okay? Or if you're able to, just reach towards your toes, all right? Or crossing the body with both feet up, those feet legs, okay? Or if you want, you can just sit back and just lifting the knees up. So if it's hard to lift that whole leg up, and if it's hard to lift that whole foot up, you can just lift the knee up. So we can lift one, and we're lifting to the outside like a V. 2. 1, 2. Right? Or you can try lifting both V, V. Okay. So you can count for either 5 times or 10 times to do our leg lifts. Right, we can go ahead and cross out V legs for a letter V. All right, let's go ahead and turn the page. T, U, V. Next we have W. All right, for W, our first one is woodchopper. Woodchopper is also a breathing activity. Woodchopper, we imagine, we pretend that we are chopping wood. Okay, so if we're chopping wood, right, we can use one arm or both arms to use our axe, lift up our axe. And what we do is we breathe in when we have the axe over our head. And when we chop our piece of wood, we're going to let out with our mouth a nice ha sound. Okay, so I'm going to take another breath in here. And when we wood chop, we go ha. All right, it's a nice way to get that hot air out. Okay, so let's see if we can try 3 together. So we inhale, lift our arms up. We can bend forward a little if we like, if it feels safe. Again, inhale in. 2, one more, inhale in. 3. Okay, so we're getting that hot air out, letting that hot air out, and it's a really nice way to visualize for our deep breathing, right? And again, all of these breathing strategies are just all different strategies. It's not that somebody has to use all of them or like them all, but I want to just make sure to give a bunch of different ones so we can try them and see if there are any that we do like. If out of this whole 30 days of activities, we find maybe 1, 2, 3 things that we like, 1 breath, 1 stretch, 1 strategy, right? Then now we have 3 strategies that we can use. So remembering 3 of these strategies, we can start to incorporate them into our routine, day, week, right? So if we're ever feeling stressed or sad or angry or upset or frustrated or very excited, but it might be hard to focus, we can just go to those strategies and we can start to use them, and it's going to start to work. We're going to start to experience whether it works or not. If not, we can try different strategies, but that's how we start to include it into our day, and that's how it can start to help us. Okay, wood chopper, so we can check that one off. Next is wrap. So wrap is bubble wrap. I actually just threw out my bubble wrap, but bubble wrap is a really great one, right? Popping, squeezing, it's a good way to practice our fine motor skills and grasping skills, as well as squeezing and popping some bubble wrap. Wrap also means to wrap ourselves up. So I have a blanket that is, let me see, this way. Here. I have a blanket that is currently being slept on by a little cutie friend of mine. Okay, so I'm not gonna pull that away from him. But if we have a blanket, we can wrap ourselves up in a blanket, and anything that's going to be tight, compression, deep input is something that may help us to feel calm. So we can, either rock back and forth in that, just get something tight, even a sweater or sweatshirt, just getting a big hug. We can wrap ourselves up in a hug. Okay, wrap ourselves up in a blanket. If we have nothing, we can just use our own arms. Wrap ourselves up, give ourselves a big hug, and just see how that feels, right? If you're watching this video, you can even try it right now. Just wrap your arms around yourself and squeeze tight. Okay, does it feel calming? Right? I think there's actually research that supports that just holding ourselves like this is something that can give us a calming response to our body. Just holding ourselves tight like this. So something just as simple as holding ourselves tight like this can help us to feel calm, help us to feel safe, which is beautiful. Okay, so we can cross off, wrap. And third is write. So write is actually something that's new to me, but I've been trying it too. It's just a nice way to get some feelings out, or just to talk about, just to write to ourselves what we did today. Writing can be a good way to help process the things going on in our mind. So sometimes our mind has so many different things going on that it seems like we know what's going on, but there's a lot. Once we start putting it down on paper, we might think, oh wow, I didn't even realize this is what I was thinking, or I didn't realize this is how I was thinking. So it actually can be helpful to write things down. Remember, these strategies, you don't have to like all of them, but if you try them, see if there's any that you like. Maybe you find that writing is one for you, but we never know unless we try, right? So even if we're writing just one word, maybe one word that can describe how we felt today, or one word about this week, if we're starting writing just once a week, right? Or we're writing one sentence about how we felt today or this week, and just see how it feels to just get it out and start to write it. And after we write a couple of times too, we might see that, something we did before, we can just document and record just how we were feeling, or anything that we want to write about. It doesn't have to be how we were feeling, it could be what we did, but just it's a nice way to practice writing and also expressing ourselves, okay, which makes us connect to our thoughts, all right, which is important, that we can connect to them and process them and understand them in a way to understand ourselves. Okay, so that's right. All right, with right, let's turn our page to the W. We come to our last page, X, Y, Z. We have one strategy activity for each letter, one for X, one for Y, one for Z. Our last page, our last activity is ready? X. So for X, we have X jacks, X stretch, or X crunch. So let's go over that. How do we make an X with our body? What do you think? Spread those legs out wide, spread those arms out wide, make a giant X. Our X jack, okay, is one where we bring our arms, legs together, and just like a jumping jack, we bring them out. Okay, so our X jack, our legs are going out. We actually don't need to move our body. That's more for the crunch, so sorry. So our body doesn't have to move. Our legs are just going out and in, out and in. Okay, so we can do 1, 2. The first ones were warm-ups. Warms up, I was gonna say. 3, 4, right? We're stepping our legs open. 5, bringing our arms out. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are seated X jacks. What about X stretch? What do you think? This one, stretch your arms out, stretch your legs out. Maybe you lift your legs. There we go. X stretch looks like this, okay? If you're keeping your legs on the ground, that's fine. Maybe you just open them up into that X position, okay? X stretch. X crunch, this is where we're crunching everything together, and then we come down to that X position. Maybe we're lifting one leg at a time, right? We can X crunch and lift the leg, okay? Lift another leg, or go across the body, right? Or leave those legs down and bring our arms across the body, okay? Or see if we can bring our arms and legs together. Stretch. Whew, that's tough. All right, our X jacks, our X stretch, our X crunches. Let's cross those out. Check them off. Okay, I'm gonna circle you because I'm gonna save it for the end. And then we'll move on to Z, zigzag. Okay, zigzag. Zigzag is a nice exercise moving in that zigzag pattern. We can do one arm, zig, zag, going across the body, okay? And then maybe back up. We could do our other arm, zig, zag, and back, okay? Or we could do both arms together, zig, zag, zig, zag. Try to keep your abdominals tight, your core tight, back up with the zigzag. Same thing with the legs. So maybe we're using our hip, zig, zag, zig, zag. Other leg, zig, zag, zig, zag. Or both legs together, zig, zag, zig, zag. Whew. It's hard to keep them both up at the same time. Okay, so some different activities we can do, right? So that's at our big joints. We can even go down to the elbow. Maybe just practice zig, zag at the elbows or at the wrists. Zig, zag, zig, zag. Or the fingers. Zig, zag, zig, zag, zig, zag, zig, zag, zig, zag, zig, zag. So zigzag is just anything getting that movement pattern. Just a nice way to take a little break, move our body, and, you know, see if we can have some fun with it. Okay, so we can cross off zigzag. Brings me to my favorite one, Y, which is Y-O-U. U, okay? And U is a strategy that we can work on incorporating, meaning you, like me, meaning think about yourself. What is it that you like? What is it that is important to you? Okay, sometimes we like things and things are important to us and we want to do things that we can't do at that time. Like if we're doing schoolwork, but we want to play outside. Or if we're doing homework and we really want to go eat something. So maybe we can't always do it right away, but remember that the whole point of these strategies, the whole point of school and education, the whole point of everything we're doing is for you. So you are the most important thing. Every single one of you, all of us are so important, are very important, are the most important. Okay? Every single person. You, and you. Okay? You is the most important person, the most important thing. So taking care of you is the most important thing that I'm trying to get across with all of these different activities. Okay, so if we can find strategies that will make us feel better, make it easier for us to do our work, make it easier for us to stay seated, to focus, to pay attention, to do what we need to do, then we're able to learn more. And we're also able to give our body what it needs. Maybe we're taking a little break and doing breathing, or we're stretching, or we're doing some exercise. But when we're doing these different things, we give our body what it needs, and it makes it better for our body. It makes our body feel more balanced, more regulated, and we're able to do these other things that we want to do. So we're taking care of ourselves. So we're taking care of you, okay? So I hope these activities have been helpful, all right? And this one, we're not going to check off because it's always a work in progress. We can always work on ourselves forever. finding different things that are important to us, different things that make us feel good, make us feel better, working on ourselves to make ourselves feel better. Okay, so don't forget about you. You are the most important part of all of this, right? So I hope everyone has enjoyed these 30 days of seated OT class with Dan. 30 days of seated OT class with Dan. I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching along with me, watching these videos. I hope they have been helpful. Okay, remember, out of all of them, see if you can find 1, 2, 3 different things that work, and just keep them in your mind, put them on paper, put them in a box, put them somewhere where we can find them and know that they exist and use them. And it could be something that can help us. Okay, so hope it's been helpful. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Remember, these are just educational videos. Individual, personalized, tailored activities are, of course, going to be the best, which is what services might provide, which is what services should provide. Okay, so just educational activities. I can't see what anyone is doing, so please make sure you use these carefully. Safety first, right? Safety and fun, but be safe to have fun. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and see some of our other videos, or stay tuned for our next playlist that might be coming up soon. All right, hope everyone has a wonderful, beautiful rest of your day. Thank you again so much. I look forward to seeing everyone again soon. Bye-bye, everyone.